Hi, my name is Frank Schaefer. In the Second World War, the Germans predicted the defeat of Great Britain by saying that they would wring Britain's neck like a chicken. Churchill responded, "Some chicken, some neck," after it was clear the tide had turned and they were winning the war. I'm reminded of that when I think of the claims in the media about the imminent failure of the Biden presidency because of some low poll numbers. You know, as the father of a Marine who fought in Afghanistan twice and once in Iraq at the beginning of that war, I was so proud of the president for having the courage that Obama did not have, Trump did not have, Bush did not have, to end that war. And I predicted a Biden victory long before anybody else was predicting that victory in a video, which then was mocked by people on the left and right as over-idealistic. And now I want to predict something else, and that is the Biden presidency is going to go down in history as one of the most successful presidencies of all time, comparable only to FDR for turning the country around at a time of peril. Today, the stock market is near a record high again. We find that the jobs reports for the last few months were underreported by over 500,000 jobs, and actually the jobs market is in good shape. Oil reserves are being opened up, and we now see that the price of gas will start going down. The Wall Street Journal tells us that shoppers boost spending despite inflation fears. Retail sales rose by 1.7%. We look at the fact that Joe Biden has de-escalated the tension with China with a 3.5-hour long virtual meeting with the Chinese government. The infrastructure bill that has just passed is probably the largest spending bill in American history outside of wartime. A bill is on the way to the president's desk from Congress in the very near future, which will give us parental leave, paid parental leave, and a host of other things that America is long overdue in instituting. The country is at peace. Biden is doing a good job. A few idiots in Congress, in the so-called moderate wing and the so-called progressive wing, have wasted a lot of time squabbling, and that's the only reason his poll numbers are down. If everything had been enacted quickly at the beginning of his presidency, the poll numbers would be high right now, in spite of the awkward pullout from Afghanistan. And you know, I have something to tell you as the father of a Marine who fought there. I waited 2 years for my son's return, on and off during the deployments, and now I'm taking care of 3 of his children as my grandchildren. I'm their full-time caregiver. And I get tremendous pleasure from that. And the worst did not happen, and he came home. And the worst is not going to happen now with Biden. In fact, he will be elected to a second term. The congressional elections, the midterms, will not be nearly as bad as predicted for the Democrats. Things will be looking up. Because the force of his presidency to actually get things done, Trump didn't do any passing of bills except a tax for cut in taxes for billionaires. No infrastructure, even though he campaigned on it. Didn't manage to get it done. Nor did Obama, by the way. Nor has any president in recent American history since Roosevelt on this scale. But Biden has done it. So I'm going to put my name on the line again, and you can all laugh all you want. I predict the Biden presidency is going to come out of the below poll numbers, which are stupid, because ending the war in Afghanistan is not his problem. The problem is Bush, who got us into a stupid war and never managed to get us out, and the ridiculous people in charge of our military who keep thinking that somehow we are a colossus when actually we have a hard time winning anything when it comes to military engagement. They should go back and focus again on what they could do best, which is not be cheerleaders for useless wars. I admire Biden endlessly. And I'm sorry about the Democrats. We really don't deserve this president. He's a much better leader than the congressional folks who are trying to pass legislation. So I predict good things ahead for the United States. We're pulling out of COVID. Biden's vaccine program, in spite of Republican opposition and misinformation has triumphed and is working. Good things are ahead for us. Biden will continue to lead us. I may be a lone voice on this, but a couple years from now, people will look back and say that I was right. Thank you. My name is Frank Schaefer.